How did the animal world emerge on Earth? 8 billion years ago, the Earth was a fiery sphere. Gradually, as it radiated heat into space, it cooled, and a solid crust formed on its surface, which was continuously melted by millions of active volcanoes. The Earth formed as a planet about 4 billion years ago. Lava erupting from millions of volcanoes solidified on the surface, creating the primary mountains and plateaus, continents, and oceanic basins. The atmosphere cooled, just like the Earth itself, resulting in heavy rainfall. On the hot surface of the Earth, the rain instantly turned into steam. Thick clouds surrounded the Earth, preventing sunlight from warming the surface. The solid crust cooled, and the oceanic basins filled with water. We do not know what the Earth looked like back then, but it certainly looked nothing like the continents we see today, either in shape or location. The atmosphere was thin and consisted of swirls of hydrogen, carbon monoxide, ammonia, and methane. There was possibly no oxygen at all. Ultraviolet rays from the sun reached the Earth's surface in deadly amounts. Enormous thunderstorms were constantly forming, unleashing lightning on both land and sea. Action between the atmospheric gases, water vapor, electric discharges, and ultraviolet radiation, complex molecules appeared, including sugars, nucleic acids, and amino acids, the building blocks of proteins. Millions of years passed. The concentration of these substances significantly increased, and the molecules began to interact, forming more and more complex compounds. It is possible that some components were brought from space by meteorites. Eventually, among the vast variety of chemical compounds, one appeared that became the key to the further development of life. Bacteria appeared. Initially, bacteria fed on various carbon compounds that had accumulated in the primordial seas over millions of years. But the more bacteria there were, the less food remained. Obviously, the bacteria that managed to find another source of nutrition had a big advantage. And in the end, some of them succeeded. Instead of absorbing ready-made food from the environment, they began to produce it within their own cells, drawing the necessary energy from sunlight. This process is called photosynthesis. It requires hydrogen, a gas released in large quantities during volcanic eruptions. But over time, new forms of life appeared that could extract hydrogen from a nearly universal source, water. Their appearance greatly influenced the further development of life, because when hydrogen is removed from water, oxygen remains. The organisms that performed this operation were more complex than bacteria. They were called blue-green algae because they resembled modern green algae, still found in ponds and marshes. The chemical substance that allows them to use water in the process of photosynthesis is chlorophyll. It is also found in real algae and higher plants. The appearance of blue-green algae was a turning point in Earth's history. The oxygen they released accumulated over hundreds of millions of years, creating our modern atmosphere, a significant part of which is oxygen. Our life and the life of everything alive depend on oxygen. We need it not only to breathe, it protects us. Atmospheric oxygen forms a barrier, the ozone layer, which absorbs almost all the ultraviolet radiation from the sun. The period when primary life appeared on Earth is called the Proterozoic era. Its duration was 2 billion years. During the Proterozoic era, unicellular organisms, protozoa, emerged. By grouping, cells formed colonies. From these colonial unicellular organisms, whose cells began to perform different functions, the first multicellular organisms appeared. These were sponges. Life at that time was closely linked to the sea. There were no organisms on land, except possibly bacteria, which could adapt to very different conditions. The next era in Earth's development was the Paleozoic, which began 600 million years ago. During the Paleozoic era, the organic world conquered the land. Among animals, the first vertebrates appeared. Among plants, spore-bearing and coniferous ones. Marine fauna developed greatly. The first mollusks, corals, and lobe-finned fish appeared. With fins resembling limbs, lobe-finned fish could crawl. Their swim bladder was enriched with blood vessels and acted as lungs. Thus, these fish could breathe air and move from one lagoon to another in search of food. Lobe-finned fish were the ancestors of amphibians. In the oceans, ancestors of modern sharks appeared. In the water, crustaceans, scorpions, and insects of various sizes. For example, the wingspan of the ancient dragonfly, Meganeura, reached 1 meter. The first reptiles appeared. A characteristic representative of early reptiles was the Edaphosaurus. It resembled a giant lizard. Edaphosaurus was a herbivorous reptile and lived near swamps. True predators also appeared, pelycosaurs. Among the carnivorous reptiles, forms similar to modern wolves, hyenas, and martens evolved. The next era of Earth's development was the Mesozoic. This was the era of middle life. During the Mesozoic era, the modern outlines of continents and oceans, modern marine fauna and flora gradually formed. The first primitive bony fish appeared. Powerful fins, a well-developed jaw apparatus, a streamlined shape, and a strong, lightweight skeleton. All this contributed to the rapid spread of bony fish in the oceans of our planet. Amphibians were represented by stegocephalians, sluggish animals with small bodies, tiny limbs, and large heads. They lay in water waiting for prey and grabbed it when it approached. Other amphibians came onto land to hunt insects. These were Mastodonsaurus. These animals, whose skulls reached 1 meter in length, looked like giant frogs. Reptiles were greatly diverse. There were thecodonts, crocodiles, and dinosaurs. The largest dinosaur was the Brachiosaurus, reaching 26 meters in length and weighing about 50 tons. It had column-like legs, a small head, and a thick, long neck. Brachiosauruses lived by lakes and fed on aquatic plants. Each day they needed at least half a ton of greenery. Flying reptiles, pterodactyls, appeared for the first time. In the seas lived dolphin-like reptiles, ichthyosaurs. By the end of the Mesozoic era, sharks gradually acquired a modern appearance. Crocodiles and turtles inhabited freshwater basins. In what is now Europe lived large lizards with long back spines and huge pythons. The most terrifying predatory lizard was Tyrannosaurus. It reached 14 meters in length. Its skull, over a meter long, had large, sharp teeth. Tyrannosaurus moved on powerful hind legs, using its thick tail for balance. Each step of the Tyrannosaurus was 4 meters long. The Cenozoic era, the era of new life, follows the Mesozoic. It began about 67 million years ago and continues to this day. During this era, many changes occurred: modern landscapes, climate, atmosphere, animal and plant life, and humans appeared.